He had everything a man is supposed to want: money, status, a view from the top floor that most men only see on postcards. And yet, every night, he sat there, drinking more than he should, spending more than he needed, destroying more than he built. Why? We like to think money controls people, but look around. Some of the richest men alive are also the most anxious, the most addicted, the most empty, because money was never the real master. It was only the tool. The real force pulling the strings is something older, deeper, and far more primitive than a bank account. Freud called it the unconscious, a hidden engine of desire, a force that doesn't care about logic, reputation, or your plans for the future. And here is the truth most men never want to face. You are not spending money because you need things. You are spending money because something inside you wants to feel alive, wanted, respected, powerful, loved, or simply less alone. So in this video, we are going to do 3 things. First, we will expose what is really giving orders inside your mind. Second, we will reveal why money always fails to fix the problem. And third, we will build a framework so you can finally take control of the desire that has been taking control of you. You think money runs the world. Freud would laugh. Desire runs the world. Money just pays the bills for it. Now, before we go deeper, let's put 2 kinds of men on the table. There are 2 kinds of men in this world. Not rich and poor, not winners and losers, but men who serve money and men who understand desire. The first one is what I call the money man. He lives by numbers. Security is his religion. He works, he saves, he calculates, he plans. He believes the world is predictable as long as the spreadsheet balances. But behind all that control is one silent fear: losing what he has and losing who he is without it. Then there is the other kind, the desire man. He doesn't chase money for security. He chases something deeper: recognition, power, meaning, a wound he still hasn't healed. Sometimes he builds empires. Sometimes he destroys himself. But make no mistake, he is not driven by logic. He is driven by the fire underneath it. Most men live somewhere between the two, but the real problem begins when you confuse the tool with the purpose. When you start believing that money itself will fix the hunger that created the need for money in the first place. You can buy the chair, but you cannot buy the desire to sit in it with pride. You can buy attention, but not the feeling of being truly seen. You can buy love stories, but not the part of you that believes you deserve to be loved. So before we go deeper, ask yourself, which man are you becoming? The one who stacks money to quiet the storm, or the one who learns to understand the storm? Because to answer that, we need to open the door Freud spent his life prying open, the door to the unconscious mind. Freud made one statement that every man should hear at least once in his life: the ego is not the master in its own house. In other words, the part of you that thinks it is in control is not the one calling the shots. So let's break the mind into 3 pieces the way Freud did. First, there is the ID, the wild core, pure instinct, pure impulse, pure want. It doesn't care about tomorrow. It doesn't care about consequences. It only knows one thing: I want. Now, then there is the ego, the negotiator, the part of you that knows rent is due, reputation matters, and actions have price tags. It tries to keep the ID satisfied while making sure you don't blow up your life in the process. And then comes the superego, the inner judge, made from the rules you absorbed from parents, teachers, religion, society. It whispers guilt. It tells you what a good man is supposed to want, what a real man is allowed to feel. Most men think these 3 are sitting at a table, calmly making decisions together. But they're not. Because the real decisions aren't made where you can see them. They're made underneath in the unconscious, the basement of the mind, where old wounds, Forgotten memories, buried desires, and unresolved fears still breathe. You don't hear them, but they steer you. That is why a man says he wants peace but keeps running back to chaos. Why he earns money but still feels like a failure. Why he chooses partners who repeat the same pain he swears he is done with. It wasn't logic, it was history. It was the unconscious repeating what it never got to finish. So when you think, I don't know why I did that, Freud would answer, because you didn't decide. Something inside you decided for you. And this is where things get uncomfortable, because the unconscious doesn't just hold memories. It holds energy, drive, the force that pushes you to create, conquer, seduce, escape, destroy, or numb yourself. Freud called that force libido, not just sexual desire, but the raw energy that fuels every appetite. And like every force in nature, it has a dark twin, a drive that doesn't want to build, but wants to burn. That's where we're going next. Freud believed the mind is not moved by logic, but by drives. Two of them shape almost every decision a man makes, whether he knows it or not. The first one is libido, not just sexual desire. Libido is the life force, the urge to build, to create, to conquer, to matter. It is the fire behind ambition, attraction, influence, mastery. It is why a man wants to be more than just alive. He wants to feel alive. But every force has a shadow. Freud called it thanatos, the death drive, the instinct to destroy, to erase, to return to zero. It is the part of a man that gets tired of order and starts craving the thrill of chaos. The part that ruins relationships that were working, burns bridges that didn't need burning, and gambles what took years to earn. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Money does not control either of these drives. It only amplifies the one already in power. Give a disciplined man money, and he multiplies what he builds. Give a restless, self-destructive man money, and he multiplies the damage. Same resource, different driver. That is why some men become stronger with success, and others fall apart the moment they taste freedom. Money doesn't change a man, it exposes him, because money is a tool, desire is the operator. And if the operator is unexamined, no amount of money will make his life make sense. A man can lose wealth and still rebuild. But if he never understands what is fueling him, libido or thanatos, he will repeat the same pattern with a new job, a new partner, a new city, a new bank account. So the real question isn't, how do I get more money? The real question is, which drive will be in control when I get it? Because when desire cannot move forward, it doesn't disappear. It gets redirected, and that redirection is where the real trap begins. When a man can't express his desire directly, it doesn't disappear. It goes underground. That's where Freud introduced a brutal idea most people still deny today. The mind doesn't delete what it can't handle. It buries it. The first stage is repression. A boy feels anger, lust, ambition, jealousy, fear, but he learns early that certain feelings are not allowed. So he pushes them down, not consciously, automatically. They don't vanish, they wait. Then comes displacement. The buried desire looks for a safer target. A man who can't confront his father argues with his boss. A man who feels unseen buys luxury to feel visible. A man who fears abandonment becomes the one who leaves first. The action looks irrational until you see the original emotion behind it. That is why so many men spend money not on what they want, but on substitutes for what they never received. Affection becomes consumption. Wounds turn into purchases. Loneliness turns into addictions disguised as hobbies. But Freud didn't stop there. He believed there is a higher path, sublimation. The ability to take the same energy that could destroy you and redirect it into something that builds you. A man who represses aggression might become violent. A man who sublimates aggression becomes a boxer, a leader, a strategist. A man who represses desire becomes ashamed of wanting. A man who sublimates desire turns it into art, business, muscle, mastery. The energy doesn't change. The direction does. And here is the core problem of modern men. We don't sublimate, we numb. Instead of building, we scroll. Instead of facing pain, we medicate it with dopamine and debt. Instant relief, zero transformation. So the question is not, why do I buy this? The real question is, what emotion am I refusing to face that makes me need this? Because until you look at the original wound, every solution will be a bandage, a new purchase, a new distraction, a new version of the same emptiness. And if you don't interrupt that cycle, the mind will do what it always does. It will repeat the lesson through repetition, which is exactly where Freud takes us next. Freud noticed something disturbing. Even when a man knows a pattern is destroying him, he still repeats it. Lose a good woman, chase the same kind again. Quit a job because of a toxic boss, end up under the same kind of boss. Make money, lose it, make it again, lose it again. Different year, same script. Freud called this the repetition compulsion. The unconscious drive to recreate a familiar pain, not because it feels good, but because it feels known. The mind would rather repeat what is familiar than risk the unknown, even if the familiar is failure. That is why logic doesn't fix patterns. That is why next time I'll do better almost never works. That is why men who grew up in chaos later build chaos in their own homes. Not because they like it, but because the unconscious is trying to solve the old wound by replaying it. Money doesn't break the loop. Money just funds a bigger version of it. A broke man drinks cheap alcohol. A rich man drinks premium alcohol. Same addiction, better packaging. A broke man dates for validation. A rich man marries for validation. Same wound, higher cost. That is the danger most men never see coming. Success doesn't save you from your drives. It gives them more resources. The man who hasn't faced his unconscious will eventually become a prisoner of it, even if he looks free from the outside. So here is the real question every man has to ask. Am I making progress, or am I just upgrading the pattern? Because life doesn't change when you get more money, more status, more tools. Life changes when the driver changes. If you don't master the pattern will master you. And the world you live in today is designed to exploit that exact blind spot. Which leads us to the next truth. Your desire is not just internal, it is being targeted. Once Freud exposed how desire controls the individual, modern society did something predictable. It didn't fix the problem, it monetized it. Every major industry today is built on one principle. Don't sell people what they need, sell them what their unconscious already craves. Advertising stopped talking to the logical mind decades ago. They don't sell a car, they sell dominance. They don't sell a watch, they sell status. They don't sell clothes, they sell belonging. The product is physical, but the purchase is psychological. In the 1950s, a Freudian marketer named Ernest Dichter helped corporations understand something critical. If you want a man to buy, don't target his wallet, target his insecurity, and it worked. Today, more than 90% of buying decisions are emotional before they are rational. Most men do not shop for utility. They shop to repair identity. That is why luxury brands don't show you the product. They show you the man you wish you were. That is why social media doesn't sell information. It sells validation. Every like, every view, every follower is a currency designed to trigger the same unconscious drives Freud mapped a century ago. And the data proves it. Impulse buying now accounts for more than half of online purchases. Household debt is at record highs, not because people need more, but because desire has been industrialized. You are not choosing. You are being steered. The system doesn't care whether you are driven by libido or thanatos. It just needs you to feel something. pride, shame, fear, envy, because emotion is the fuel of consumption. And the more unresolved the man, the more profitable he becomes. A man who knows what he desires is hard to manipulate. A man who doesn't is the perfect customer. He keeps buying because he never reaches the feeling he is really chasing. That is why this video is not about money. It is about power. Because if you don't control your desire, someone else will rent it, redirect it, and bill you for it. Now that you understand how the system works, the next step is simple. You need tools to interrupt it before it spends your life for you. Now that you understand how desire can steer you, your only real advantage is awareness. Not motivation, not willpower, awareness. Before you spend, before you say yes, before you chase the next image, run the move through 5 simple questions. Answer honestly. This is not philosophy. It is a filter, a way to see whether you are acting or being acted upon. Question 1. Am I fixing a wound or building something real? If your choice is primarily about numbing pain, buying approval, or avoiding a feeling, stop. Bandages feel like progress. They are not. Question 2. Is this a repeat? If the pattern looks familiar, recognize it. New packaging does not mean new behavior. Repetition is the unconscious trying to complete an old story. Money only upgrades the props. Question 3. Would I still want this if no one ever saw it? If the desire collapses when the audience disappears, you are purchasing performance, not purpose. True choices survive silence. Question 4. Am I feeding creation or destruction? Ask which drive you are satisfying. Is this an investment into skill, craft, or legacy? Or is it a quick thrill that will demand a higher price later? The difference determines whether you build or burn. Question 5. What happens if I delay for 24 hours? If the urge dissolves after a day, it was likely chemical noise. If it remains, it may be worth pursuing with strategy rather than impulse. Here is the rule. If you answer 3 or more questions in a way that points to avoidance, performance, or self-destruction, do not act. Pause. Document what you felt, why you wanted it, and what you will do instead. The pause breaks the spell. It forces the unconscious to reveal itself. That is where power returns to you. This checklist is not a substitute for therapy or deep work. It is a frontline tool you can use immediately. Use it daily for a week. See how many purchases, fights, or poor choices you avoid. Then come back and we will build the practical training to make that pause permanent. A checklist is not enough. You do not change by knowing. You change by training. So here is the practical framework. 5 levels. Each one builds discipline over desire without turning you into a monk or a robot. The goal is not suppression. The goal is control. Level 1, the pause. Every time you feel the impulse to buy, react, argue, or chase, pause for 10 seconds. You are not deciding yet. You are interrupting the automatic pattern. Level 2, the skip. 3 times a week, consciously refuse something you would normally accept. A drink, a notification, a purchase, a reply. Small acts of refusal create internal strength. Level 3, the delay. Anything over a fixed amount of money or emotional cost must wait 24 hours. If it still matters the next day, you choose it. If not, the desire was never real. Level 4, the journal. Write 1 page every morning for 7 days. Not poetry, not philosophy. Just record what you wanted, what you did, and what it cost. When you can see desire on paper, it loses power. Level 5, sublimation project. Pick one outlet that turns raw energy into creation. Training, business, writing, building something with your hands. 30 days minimum. The goal is not perfection. The goal is redirection. To lock it in, here is the 7-day challenge. Day 1 to 3, pause and skip. Day 4 to 6, add the delay rule and journal daily. Day 7, start the sublimation project. You do not need a new life to feel control. You need 7 days of proof that desire can be led instead of obeyed. And once you feel that control, the final lesson becomes clear. If you have followed the logic from the beginning, the message is clear. Money is not the real controller. Desire is. And Freud did not give us a way to feel better about that truth. He gave us a way to confront it. The world will keep selling you escape routes. More comfort, more noise, more distractions that look like progress. But none of them change the driver inside your head. The only real freedom is internal ownership. When you know what you want, why you want it, and whether it is building you or breaking you, the system loses its grip. So here is the challenge. 7 days. Run the checklist. Train the 5 levels. Watch how many impulses die the moment you refuse to serve them. If you do it, you will feel something most men never experience. Not pleasure, not success. Authority over yourself. Comment day 0 if you are starting. Subscribe if you want more tools instead of more illusions. You can earn more money later. You can rebuild status later. But the man who loses command of his own desire loses everything. Take it back.